What's the best roulette strategy? I get this question all the time, but is it that simple? Is there a single best roulette strategy to rule over them all? My honest answer to the question is it depends who's asking. What works best for me might be terrible for you. It depends on your circumstances. If you'd like to see my personal overall top 25 roulette strategies, then you can check out the video in the description. But for a more personalised recommendation, this is the video for you. Don't forget, to give yourself the best chance of winning whilst trying out these strategies, you'll need to find a good casino to play at. I've made that task easy, and you can take the quick 2-minute quiz using the link in the description to be matched with the best casino for you. Here's just a few circumstances we need to consider when selecting the best roulette strategy for you. Your bankroll is the most obvious one. Some strategies you need just a little bit of money to potentially win big. Others, you need a large bankroll to grind it out in the hopes to make consistent profits. Your risk tolerance is another factor to consider. Some people want to hit it big, take $50 to the casino and walk away with over $1,000. Others, like myself, prefer more consistent wins and are happy to walk away with a 20% increase in our bankroll. The amount of time you are able to stay and play will also affect the best roulette strategy to implement. If you've only got 15 minutes to play, you're not going to pick a system that could potentially take a couple of hours to see the best results. And of course, skill level and competence. Somebody relatively new to playing roulette should not be attempting complex betting systems, as they'll likely make a costly mistake. With that in mind, I've made some general assumptions on life circumstances within age groups, and here are my 2 recommended roulette strategies for each group. The first age group are 18 to 25-year-olds. You're new to the game, probably don't have a large bankroll, but you do have a high risk tolerance. So let's find a simple strategy you can use with a small bankroll and still aim for big wins. My first recommendation would be the hopscotch. To have a good chance of winning with this roulette strategy, you'll need about $100 bankroll. It's fun, exciting and simple. When you complete a winning progression, you can turn $10 into $90. Here's how I would play the system with our $100 bankroll. Bet $10 on any even chance bet. If it wins, take those $20 returns and place the money evenly across 2 of the 3 dozens. So that would be $10 on each dozen for a total bet of $20. If this wins, you will receive $30 and you can put this amount back on an even chance bet. And if that wins, place the $60 returns back on 2 of the 3 dozens, so $30 on each dozen. Completing the 4th win, you will be returned $90. Walk away or go again. It might get frustrating as you get close but fail to complete the full progression. But when you do hit those 4 winning bets, it's a great buzz knowing you turned $10 into $90. The second recommendation would be the parolee system. This is as easy as it gets. Place a bet on any even chance bet. Each time you win, put all the returns back on the table and bet on another even chance bet. Win 3 bets in a row and pocket your winnings. So you can go from $10 to $20 on your first win, $20 to $40 on your second win, and then $40 to $80 on your third win. After your third win, collect the $80 and either walk away or reset to a $10 bet. Moving on to the 25 to 34-year-olds, despite the grey hair, this is the category I sit in. This age category, you're a bit more comfortable at the roulette table, and your bankroll is probably higher than it was in the earlier age category. For that reason, we can look at playing slightly more complex strategies that require a reasonable bankroll to work effectively. I'm also assuming, like myself, you don't have unlimited time to play and you want to make a decent profit in 30 minutes or less. The first recommendation would be the double up dozens. I've mentioned numerous times that in my opinion, this is one of the most underrated roulette strategies out there. By no means a guaranteed winner, but with a sensible profit target, you can get in and get out making good money more often than not. Let's assume this time we have a $500 bankroll. The strategy is super easy. Bet $10 each on 2 of the 3 dozens for a total bet of $20. Each time you win, just repeat the bet and collect your $10 profit. When you lose, which happens about 1 in every 3 spins, double your next bet. So now you would have $20 on each of the 2 dozens for a total bet of $40. You will need to win this bet 2 times in a row before you reset your bet back down to the starting bet of $10 on each dozen. Each time you lose, double your next bet and win 2 in a row. When you eventually hit those 2 winners in a row, you will have recouped all of your losses and made profit. If your bets get out of hand, you can win just 1 bet in a row and then reset. This won't always recoup your losses, but it will reduce your chances of getting into trouble and losing your entire bankroll. The second recommendation is my personal favourite for 2025. It's the Fibonacci neighbours, and I believe it's the best way to play the Fibonacci sequence. Here's why I think that and how you play it. With the Fibonacci neighbour strategy, you cover a section of 13 numbers on the roulette wheel. The easiest way to do this is to set your neighbour bets to 6 and pick a number. Let's pick the number 0 for this example. This would mean you are covering the number 0, the 6 numbers to the left and the 6 numbers to the right on the roulette wheel, giving a total of 13 numbers. Playing this way, you cover 13 numbers, one more than the 12 in the traditional Fibonacci dozens or columns, meaning that each spin you have an extra 2.7% probability of winning. The betting progression follows the Fibonacci sequence, which looks like this. It's important to remember that this is the amount you are betting on each of the 13 numbers, so if your starting bet is $1, that's a total bet of $13. For that reason, you'll either need a bankroll closer to $1,000 for this strategy, or you'll need to find a roulette table with small minimum bets like 50 cents, or perhaps, if you're lucky, even 10 cents. If you'd like help finding a roulette table that allows 10-cent bets on each number, then you can take the quiz in the description. The beauty of the Fibonacci sequence, even when betting on 13 numbers, is that when you do eventually hit a winner, all of your previous losses will be returned as well as some additional profit. Next up, we have our 35 to 44-year-olds. If you're in this age group, you're probably more comfortable with slightly advanced strategies and you have the bankroll to try them out. The 9 Street Hybrid is a great roulette strategy for you if your risk tolerance is on the higher side. It's a high coverage strategy that has a plan for losses and takes advantage of winning streaks whilst covering 27 numbers. Here's how it works. Place 1% of your bankroll on 9 different street bets. So if you had $1,000 bankroll, that would be $10 on each street for a total bet of $90. When you hit a winning bet, which you can expect to happen roughly 3 out of 4 spins, you will increase your bet by 50%. So now each street would have $15, giving a total bet of $135. When you have won 2 bets in a row, you simply reset your bet down to the original $90 base bet. If you do hit a loser, which you can expect to do 27% of the time, then the plan is to double your bet and win 2 bets in a row before resetting to your $90 base bet. This strategy is an aggressive one, but if luck falls your way, the positive progression on this system allows you to make some good money in a short amount of time. The second recommendation for this age group is the matchmaker strategy. This strategy is so good I put my name to it. It's inspired by the Labouchere system, but instead increases your probabilities of winning by playing 2 of the 3 dozens rather than the even chance bets. You start the same way you would with the Labouchere system, by choosing a target profit and breaking that amount into 10 equal amounts in a list. The rules are pretty simple. Add the first and last number on the list and this is your bet amount. With the matchmaker system, this is the amount you're going to bet on each dozen. If this bet wins, cross off the first and last number on your list. If the bet loses, add the total amount that you lost to the end of the list. When you have crossed off all the numbers on your list, you will have reached your profit target. Now here's the seriously clever part and why this roulette system is so effective. Not only are you twice as likely to win as you are to lose, but you are also crossing off 2 numbers on a win and only adding 1 on a loss. So even if you won and lost the same amount of bets, you would eventually complete your list and collect your profit. But to win and lose the same amount of bets whilst covering 24 out of 37 numbers would be an unlucky session. This isn't to say the matchmaker doesn't come without risks. With each losing bet, the numbers on your list along with your bet amounts will get bigger and bigger, but if you pick a sensible profit target in comparison to your bankroll, you would need a seriously bad streak of luck to hit in order not to complete your list and collect your winnings. Moving on to the 45 to 54-year-olds. Again, I'm going to assume you have more money than the previous age group, and with these 2 strategies you are going to need a reasonable bankroll behind you to play effectively. You've also got a good understanding of the game and you'll be able to experiment with more advanced strategies. The first recommendation for this age group is the endgame roulette strategy, created by friend of the channel Benny Legends. This strategy uses Fibonacci style progression and adds a secondary bet after 3 losses. To start the endgame, you bet on a single dozen. You can follow the betting progression each time you lose, which is essentially the Fibonacci system. After losing 3 bets in a row, you now add your second bet, which is a column. This way, you have 4 jackpot numbers that can cause both of your bets to win. When you hit one of your jackpot numbers, you can reset to the start of the strategy. If your lowest bet wins, you stay betting on your current tier, and if your highest bet wins, you can move down a tier. If you win your high bet 3 times without hitting a loser, then you can reset your bet. Like I said earlier, it's a complex system, but there's a handy spreadsheet you can download for free in the community Discord. The next recommendation for this age group is far easier to play, and it's derived from a classic strategy that you may be familiar with. It's the V28 hybrid progression. Because of the hybrid progression, you'll need a large bankroll to play this one, and that's why it's a recommendation for people later in their careers. I would recommend a bankroll of $1,000 or potentially more, and here's how to set up the strategy. First, place $75 in the middle dozen. Then place $25 on 2 non-overlapping corners in the first dozen, and $25 on 2 non-overlapping corners in the third dozen, giving you 28 numbers that are winners, hence the name. Total bet is $175, and with every winning number, you will make $50 profit. But with this strategy, I would recommend a hybrid betting progression, and it works like this. Hook your previous winnings back on the table for the next spin, keeping with the same 3-to-1 ratio regarding the corners and the dozen bet. With the $50 profit, we increased the corner bets by $5 and the dozen bet by $15. Now we have $30 on our 4 corners and $90 on our dozen, giving a total bet of $210. After 2 wins in a row, you reset back down to the base bet of $175. When you do hit a losing number, which you can expect to do 24% of the time, you need to double your bet and follow the same progression when you hit a winner. It's not one for the faint-hearted, but in a good session, you can make $500 in 15 minutes or less. The last age group is the over 55s. I appreciate there's a considerable difference between a 56-year-old and a 96-year-old, but there's a reason I'm lumping them all together with these 2 strategy suggestions. That's because of the amount of time you have to play at the table. I'm assuming if you're over 55, you have more uninterrupted time to play roulette, your kids can take care of themselves, and you can comfortably sit down at the roulette table knowing you won't be called on to do any other tasks. This means you can take your time playing systems that work best with a bit of patience. And that's why I recommend 2 strategies that are super effective but do require a bit of patience. The first recommendation is an all-time legendary strategy that I use across many casino games, and even professional sports bettors call on this betting system from time to time. It's the Oscars grind, and the hint is in the name, because in some instances it can certainly become a grind. The Oscars grind is rather unique, as it increases your bets after a winning bet rather than a loser, which can come in really handy if you run into a dreaded streak of consecutive losses. To play the Oscars grind, you will place your base unit on any even chance bet. In our example, let's say we bet $10 on black. The goal is to make $10 profit and then reset. So obviously, this could be done in the first spin. If it does, we reset and go again. But there will be plenty of occasions when you will have to work hard to make your $10 profit, and here's how the progression works. Let's assume you lose the first 3 bets. As mentioned earlier, this strategy is unique because we're not increasing after a loss. So that would be 3 lots of $10 we have lost, a total of $30. When we do hit a winner, now it's time to increase our bet up by 1 unit. So as our base bet was $10, we simply add another $10 to our next bet for a total of $20. You continue the progression, only increasing after a winning bet until you hit the target profit of $10. One very important rule with the Oscars grind is to reduce your bet when you're close to your target profit. For example, if you are $20 away from your $10 target profit and your bets are $50, you do not continue at a $50 bet. You do the sensible thing and reduce your bet to the amount needed in order to hit your target. This additional rule sets apart the winners from the losers, and ignore it at your own risk. The second strategy for the over 55s is the D'Alembert dozens. Adopted from the classic D'Alembert system, where you decrease after a winner and increase after a loser, but this version uses 2 of the 3 dozens rather than an even chance bet. With the original D'Alembert system, you go up 1 unit after a losing bet and down 1 unit after a winning bet. You may not be aware of this, but if the true probabilities play out whilst using this betting progression, then you will win money, which is obviously great. With the double D'Alembert, We place a bet on 2 of the 3 dozens. I'll explain in a moment the optimum bet and why so many people get this wrong. Because we have a 64.8% probability of winning whilst betting on 2 of the 3 dozens, when we do hit a losing bet, we are going to need to increase our next bet by 2 units. On a winning bet, similar to the original D'Alembert, we can reduce by 1 unit. Let's assume our units are $5 each. That means we will increase by $10 on a loser and decrease by $5 on a winner. With the probability suggesting we win twice as many as we lose, this ratio balances itself out. The main issue I see again and again is players start at the minimum bet. If you have $5 on each dozen for a total bet of $10 and you win, then you can't reduce your bet any further, and in essence, you are not playing the D'Alembert system. To play the D'Alembert system effectively, you need to start at a betting amount that will allow you to increase or decrease your next bet. With a $1,000 bankroll, I would suggest $40 on both dozens for a total bet of $80. This should give you enough wax to weather the storm if you hit a losing streak, but it's also big enough to allow you to reduce your bets by $5 on each dozen every time you hit a winner. Let me know which strategy you play and what age bracket you sit in. Help your friends out by sharing this video with them, and don't forget to take the quiz using the link in the description. If you're interested in learning more about roulette strategies, check out this video next.